So welcome everybody to the Solomon podcast, or the podcast of Solomon, as it may be called. We haven't decided on the name yet. But today I'm with my friend, and today he will be going under the name of Neo.
Exactly.
That's the vibe today, the shades, the Neo.
Yeah, the truth is I'm quite tired.
Yeah. I think that's what Snoop Dogg does. He just looks cooked all the time, and then we just put shades on.
The shades on, and that's cool,
But why are you here? What are we doing? So we're just here to talk. We're just here to share and just have a conversation, because I feel that we both feel like we have a lot to maybe share, to pass on to people. We feel like our conversation could be eye-opening. And above anything, we definitely do not encourage any sort of dogma or righteousness.
Yeah, no, this is not about, we're not trying to push force ideas onto people. We're just starting a conversation and sharing what we feel to be right, what we feel to be our truth. And if that resonates with you, that is fantastic, and that is our goal, effectively. But ultimately is where we want to grow with this podcast. We just want to be able to talk, express, share only what we're experiencing at the moment, and see how this goes. Whether we end up grafting in a corner shop, or we end up in...
That's why we're here. We're trying not to graft in a corner shop, you know?
Or the aura up, bank account down, that's the kind of vibe at the moment.
Yeah. But yeah, that's precisely why we're here, and the only thing we would like to definitely encourage, which is something that we feel is important and vital to our own experience and vital to the people we are today, is questioning and inquiry. Questioning the norm, questioning what you believe in, what you've been told to believe in. So that's probably the only thing we'd encourage. But apart from that, it's just a conversation for you to enjoy and think what you want to think of it. And yeah, let's get started.
I think we should actually do an origin story. How we met.
You think so?
An origin story.
I'll let you take this one over, because I always say this one. I want you to tell it.
Okay, I'm going to tell it for once. He's slightly better at telling it, but you get the first time, like me telling it for the first time. So effectively, one day, we're going to set the scene. Depressed 18-year-old Cameron going to the park to do some pull-ups because he's not good enough. No.
No, it's true.
This is half true.
Physique must be acquired for attention of women.
I still didn't really acquire that physique, but we carry on.
Keep grinding.
Keep grinding, So we're doing pull-ups at the park. We're getting the numbers up. I've got my little backpack and my water bottles in there because it was COVID time and there was literally no way of progressively overloading. So I would just fill up these water bottles, as you can see. We ain't promoting no companies right now.
Yeah, we are not.
They can see if they want to sponsor us, they can. But yeah, so effectively we're at the park, I'm doing my pull-ups. I've got my water bottles in the back. Then all of a sudden, I look to my right as I'm doing mid-set, and I see this guy just sitting on top of these monkey bars, just completely blissed out. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Is he okay? Is this guy on drugs or something? Is he, But at the same time, I kind of knew. I was like, is he just meditating? Because at the time I was sort of starting meditation, sort of discovering about myself. Hence why I was trying to get disciplined, doing, etc. And yeah, I walk over to him and I go, "Are you right, mate? Are you okay? You're not depressed or anything. You're like, my friend, I'm just
watching the sunset.
I'm just watching the sunset." And I was like, "You're just watching the sunset?" And you're like, "Yeah." It's like, okay. Then
then from there I got down, we got to chatting, and then we had seen each other in school before, but I just thought he's like this kid that looks like white Bruno Mars, and he's like a couple of years below me. And then we did interact really briefly at the gym. I asked if I could do some pull-ups, and you were like, "Yeah, of course." But I was like, "Who's this prick wearing fingerless gloves to the gym?" I was like, "I don't want to interact with him. He's cooked."
Yeah.
But eventually we got to talking, and I think I mentioned The Matrix, and I was like, "Have you seen The Matrix?" Like, "Yeah, I love that film. I'm into Buddhism and stuff like that." You said, and yeah, from there we just we touch base every now and then, and we kind of just grew, and our brotherhood grew,
Yeah.
But I always loved that story, because it's like you literally approached me because you thought I was suicidal, and you're like, "What is this guy doing?"
Because it seemed like one of them things that you do at the time. Obviously now it's common. You just sit and you enjoy the sun. You sit and you enjoy. But back then it was like you're just sitting. I sit, but that's to meditate. That's not just to watch the sun. There's a purpose for me sitting. I can't just sit.
Can't just sit down.
No. Yeah. There has to be a reason for me to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was the origin story
Origin
of our...
story.
We have obviously our own independent origin stories, but that'll
that'll
take way too long.
Yeah.
So what should we mention now? Our current situation. So we feel our spiritual aura is super high, but the bank account is down. So that's why we're here. You know? I think both of us, we're looking... I think Cameron for a long time, but me probably more of recent times. A way we can serve the collective, which just means everyone in the world. How we can serve people in a positive way and create a positive impact in people's lives, while also sustaining ourselves independently. You know, and we feel that what we're doing right now could be an opportunity. That we have individual projects and endeavors. So Cameron is a musician and he's got a band. He does some solo stuff. I do a few things.
Artists behind the camera.
Yeah, I've done some acting, I've done some modelling, and I'm happy to dabble in those things still. But I'm also recently I've focused a lot on my art and trying to sell the clothes that I've been making. Probably a wonderful time to plug our Instagram. So I'll leave that in the description, but I'll have a little pop up here as well. So Cameron is at Cameron Baker Official, correct?
Official, yes.
On Instagram.
Official.
On TikTok, you are at
Cameron Baker Official.
Is it the same? I thought it's Cameron.sb.
But you can just put in official and it'll come up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool. But anyway, I'll leave obviously TikTok links in the description and also on screen as well, so you can see. For myself, my Instagram, my personal Instagram is Maciej _Solomon, and then all my art endeavors and everything I share through my art and express will be found on Art of Solomon. So on Instagram it's Art _ Solomon, on TikTok it's just Art of Solomon. So you can follow me on there. I sometimes go live and I promote my art, chat with my followers, and I've actually got a few collaboration projects coming up with my followers, so that's going to be really cool. So you can check those videos out on our Instagrams and TikToks. But so yeah, that's us. What's the first topic we could cover? I think we'll start with what the intention for the podcast is.
Inquiry.
Yeah, I think the importance of questioning and inquiring, because I realized this probably a month ago. Throughout our conversations about spirituality, metaphysics, philosophy, and just reality and life in general, me and Cameron have often mentioned the word, and I've understood the fact. So supposedly they're like, yeah, you know, we've grown up as humans and we've been programmed in some way.
Yes.
But I feel like 2 months ago or a month ago, I actually really stopped and realized this is not funny anymore. It's true. I have actually been programmed, and I have behaved, I have thought, and I have felt about myself things that aren't necessarily true, that are just based on some other ideas that have been injected and programmed into me. And I really stopped to see that, kind of a humbling moment, you know, because as you go through the spiritual journey, or you want to call it self-improvement, the hero's journey, or just the journey of your life, whatever phrase fits you best, you find that you get to these points where you really think you've made it, and you've uncovered everything, and you're like, wow, I'm in a really great position. But then more stuff comes and more feelings come up, and you get triggered by something else, and you get humbled again, you know. And that was probably a big moment, not a big moment, but one of the moments was that when I was like, wow, I have really been programmed. And just to not distrust yourself, but then also remember that maybe there's some still lingering somewhere there. But I do trust that all that stuff still comes up to the surface, because it has. That's what's been happening for the past 2 years. Just I've been integrating, spewing up, dealing with my emotions, and I feel like I'm actually learning who I am. So not the programmed one, but the actual one, who I actually am. I feel like I'm uncovering my identity, you know.
But that's the thing as well. It kind of gets to your ego, because you're like, I thought I conquered this. I thought I dealt with this, and then you still realise, okay, there's certain actions that I'm taking that are still out of alignment with myself. So it's just about really being honest and open with yourself, and just not hating yourself when you maybe slip into old programs, old habits, old ways of being. So it's like, okay, this is something else that I believe, something else that was here that maybe needs to be integrated, that needs to be seen, that needs to be felt, that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
You know, and it is really, I think the main thing about all of this, the whole journey, is just truly being compassionate for yourself. Understanding that there is basically 3 aspects of yourself. There is the awareness of yourself, there is the physical you, and then there is the sort of the thought forms that you have, the language in your mind, you know? And it's just, truly just allow yourself to evolve and change and not despise yourself in the process. And that's the problem with, like, we're going to go into this later, talking about like religion, spirituality, like these big aspects of these communities, because it's like there is merit, there is such great teachings here, but it can just become this big ego trip. Like, and I'm finding this now, and we found this with ourselves, like it's just like your ego goes up another level. You're now the fucking spiritual ego, you know, and you these parts of you that seem to be noble, that seem to be, oh, okay, I'm making progress. You're just literally on the same page. You're just running from the same feelings, running from the same thoughts. But now it's okay. Now it's the level of, okay, I need to feel like I'm one. But you're still just scared of a feeling. You're still scared of feeling something that you can't. That's just fucking coming up.
Yeah, true.
That will be described better maybe another time as well. We can.
Right, we're not here to be perfect.
Yeah,
we're not
that's
here
true.
to be perfect. So
first episode as well.
First episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Humbly so, but yeah, you know, that's I wanted to mention something, which was one thing that I've told you many times that's really helped me was the anytime I began doing this, like I've told you before, like this process of whenever I get triggered by something, emotionally triggered by something, some external factor, whether that's a person or something else, instead of doing that and complaining about what like this person has done to me, I've done this, and I found, at first I did that just because that's what you're supposed to do based on spiritual teachings, but then I stopped doing it, but then I just saw it kind of happen anyway, and as in like I just saw through my own process, like, wow, this was really not about this person, it's about me.
Yes.
And I feel like this has been proven to me so many times just through my own experience that I see that now, like all these spiritual triggers or emotional triggers and stuff that you feel when you feel emotionally triggered by somebody else or something, it's always about you in some way. It's never about the other person,
And then we found this beautiful dual perspective of it, of like, okay, so now somebody's triggered you, and this is what stuck me for a while. Something within somebody has triggered you, where they're acting, what they're saying, how they feel around you. The problem comes, especially if you're somebody who's a pleaser, this is the dual aspect to it. Some people are going to instantly point the finger at themselves. I'm awful. I'm terrible. And this is what I did.
Yeah.
It's like and this is where it's great. Yes, I am doing that, but it also does exist within them. And this is where the balance comes in, because it's like, okay, I'm seeing this because this is something that I used to do, and I no longer want to do this. Okay, great. I've understood this. Okay, so what can I do to stop doing this? Great. Next, habit, change. What can I change about myself? But also you have to understand this does exist within the other person. And now it becomes this time of honest and open communication where you can be like, okay, I'm seeing that you're doing this, and I used to do this. And I can see that you're lying to yourself. And this means that you're now lying to me. And now I can't trust you. And then...
Yeah, the dual perspective of like, so...
It is within them, but it is also within you.
Yeah,
and it's this balance between, okay, can we both grow together from this? And this is where the sort of balance comes. Okay, can we both grow together from this? And it comes a point of like, if the other person doesn't want to inquire, then it might be difficult to sort of spend time with them. And it might be a symbol of, okay... until you've inquired about this, until you brought this up, this is just...
Yeah, there's a fine balance of setting boundaries and self-inquiry. Because when I was talking about this, I did not mean, okay, so you've done something, and this is like emotionally triggered me, so I'm going to turn the finger and I'll blame myself. It's not blame, it's inquiring. No. Right, this person is reflecting something to me that's about myself, that some part of me that I don't accept, and that upsets me.
Yes, I see that. But some people will take that to the extreme. You see people who truly hate themselves take that to the extreme.
Yeah, that's why I want to clear this up right now, because it's not that I'm taking it to the extreme of like, right, what's wrong with me? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I inquire because naturally I don't want these kind of negative energies. We are humans. We will experience emotions. They will flare up. But you can tell when it's like, it's almost like too big, and you're like, right, what is this really about? Why is this piss me off so much? So when I say this whole thing, I talk about this because it's helped me release from blaming external factors and then help me with my inner work. It's made me turn within, look at like, right, what is this person reflecting to me right now? What is it that I'm actually angry about? It's not about what this person's doing. perhaps this person is doing something that I've done in the past. I've had this experience. I've met someone who was behaving not exactly chill around women and being a bit cringy, and that triggered me, and I just wanted to stay away from that guy, and his presence really pissed me off. But I inquired. I just knew it's not about him.
Yes,
it's about me, because I used to be like that, and I really dislike that because I want to be successful with women. But then I just saw that was within me. It's not him. And the more I did that and integrated, kind of worked with myself, the less his behaviors affected me, and I just didn't take him seriously. I was like, it's cool. That's just how he is. And this is the beautiful thing that happens when you turn the finger inwards.
You realise it is you. And
you realise, right, what is this trying to tell me about myself? What is this showing me? And maybe, usually it's a part of yourself that you just don't accept, or you hate, maybe you despise, you're angry at a part of yourself. Then you come with acceptance in that part. It's like a balance. You accept that part of yourself. You give it love, but also you don't allow it in a way. Because you accept it, it's basically I see you, but I'm not going to live my life this way. But you're just in this acceptance where there's no more charge around fighting this. You're like, okay, this is a part of me. But then you move on, and it just loses the power to make you angry when someone else is behaving. And then the reflection has worked, you've integrated, and now you no longer care about what this person's doing.
You're completely free from it.
You're fine, and this person can continue to be cringy, continue to be a ghost of what you used to be, and it doesn't matter. If anything, you probably now maybe mention something help him, bro, chill,
exactly.
Not to do that, man. It's
But this is the beautiful part about all this reflection as well. Where if you're at the phase where you're angry, don't then hate yourself, because you're also getting the chance to reflect that charged emotion you feel when you see something within someone else or even within yourself. It's just allowing you to address it, especially with dreams. This is another one we'll go into a segment later. If you have a dream, you wake up, you're just so triggered by this dream you've had. That is something within you, okay, I need to address this.
Yeah.
This is causing a problem. I want to actually tell you a story now. I'm going to be vulnerable, just say it as it is. I had a dream recently, and me and my friends actually took the mick out. They took the piss out of me for this, but it was quite funny. This girl I used to speak to ages ago, and I was quite close with. She blocked me on everything. And I remember, on this dream, she blocked me on everything. I hate you, I never want to speak to you again. This is what she said to me in this dream. And I remember waking up, and I felt so hurt by this. And I was like, why do I still care? It's been so, why do I still actually care? And then, because I don't need anything from this person. I don't want anything from this person. Or do I? I must still, obviously, if I feel so hurt by this, obviously I do want something from them. And I just and I thought, what do I really, above all else, want them to know? Because I don't care about getting with them or extracting any, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was and I actually just messaged them, and I straight up just said, look, above all else, I just want you to know that I care deeply about you, and I've got a lot of love for you, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. And instantly, as soon as I said that, she could have blocked me that moment. I couldn't care less, because I said what I needed to say.
Yeah.
And this idea of, and it sort of goes, it's a deeper story, how it sort of goes into it all, but sometimes it's just in the things that charge you, just really need to look at. The things that charge you, things that really trigger you, they're trying to teach you. When it comes to somebody else, when it comes to your dream, or if it comes to yourself, how you're acting, why is this triggering me?
Yeah, and sometimes like with the example you just gave, sometimes you just need to express stuff.
Yes.
You just needed that almost closure for yourself, and you wanted to say something you haven't said, and they were still eating at you, and you were finally addressed it, and then you did it. And because that closure is important, and I think sometimes the energies inside that just need to be expressed, but obviously doing it in a safe way. And that's what's important, is to express things safely in a safe space, in a safe way that's not harming anybody else, you know. And I think this is a great segue into the conversation about darkness, you know, where it's my view and perspective that darkness is not something to be destroyed. You need it because it's part of, you don't get one without the other. To see a shape, you need the light hitting a shape, but then you get the shadow to define other edges of it. So the light goes with the dark, and this is obviously echoes for all esoteric teachings, yin yang, Buddhists, they all talk about this. And we all have darkness inside of us, but if that darkness is suppressed, not looked at, not acknowledged, fought, pushed down, that's when it becomes dangerous. Because eventually it's going to build up so much, and that's going to lead to some sort of negative expression which will be uncontrolled, such as perhaps like a murder or some form of abuse, where if we look within ourselves and integrate our darkness and we look at it and accept it and see it, because the first step to to integrating and maybe ridding of darkness is to first of all accept that it's actually there. Not trying to pretend that you're some perfect, person. There's no darkness. You're like the perfect angel. Everyone has darkness inside them. And that has to be acknowledged and seen. And when that's done, then you become a balanced, integrated person. But sometimes the darkness needs to be expressed in some ways. And that could be done through so many art forms, poetry, art, just like painting. It could be done so many ways, but this is why I'm segueing into this conversation, because expressing in a safe way. Because if we find ways to express darkness in a safe way, to integrate it, to see it, to acknowledge it, to accept those parts of ourselves that are dark, that we don't want to look at, that maybe we even feel ashamed of. Especially if you feel ashamed of, like, shame is a really heavy emotion that doesn't help. So if you fundamentally feel ashamed of something first, that's probably the first thing to do, is to just be like, get rid of that layer first. Like, just don't be ashamed that you're feeling this, that you're thinking this. First, remove that layer of shame, because that'll keep you perpetuated and spinning in the cycle of shame forever. Don't be ashamed, then look at it and integrate it. Not all forms of darkness will need expression, but some do need to be expressed in some way, but there are safe ways to do that. And if we do more of that, I think the world would be a much better place, because we're no longer fighting, we're not putting down, we're not trying to forget, suppress, and ignore that darkness is there. No, we're acknowledging it fully, and we're seeing it, and we are accepting it all within ourselves. And once you do that, you won't feel any need for hurting someone else. You see the darkness in yourself, and you know that you're imperfect. You see other people are imperfect, and especially if you found a way to express yourself, express your darkness, integrate it in a safe space. Then, Carl Jung talks about this. He talks about like how the darkness is a huge part of individuation and integration, and it has to be accepted, acknowledged, and seen. Because, and sometimes there's power in the darkness. You've told me many times where you got so angry, but damn, it got you out of bed and it got you into the gym.
Yes.
But then it's about bringing it back, because you don't want to be pissed off for the whole day.
But sometimes my best PRs is when I've been furious. Like best PRs, most weight I've ever lifted, when I've been truly enraged. Some of the best songs I've ever wrote was when I've been just so angry, so frustrated, so upset with just myself and maybe my current situation. And it's just, can this be channeled and can this be expressed? Can this be put into something that is useful for yourself and people around you? Because what needs to be understood is, especially when you get to a certain level of awareness, it's like when you're projecting it out onto others, it's the similar thing of like, there's also this part of empathy where it's like, okay, do they even know better? And this is going to go segue straight onto my point later, when you're at a certain point of awakening, when you sort of like start pointing the finger and you really can't be around many people, the sort of isolation part of awakening, where we went through this, it was like fucking NPCs. Fucking NPCs, look at this fucking, this is just sleep, just slave NPC. But then you realise, we realise what ourselves is,
you're just looking down on people.
You're just looking down, and also you're looking down on yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is the thing about pointing the finger. When you project these angers and these thoughts, and you do the complaining, and you complain, and there's wrong, and you judge, some way or shape or form, you are complaining about yourself. You are judging yourself.
Yeah,
that's why I did this, because I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I'm smarter than this. This ain't about this person. It's about me somehow, and I can't be asked to spend my energy, because that's the best way to think about it. You're wasting and spending energy. Spend my energy on hating, spend my energy on judging, spend my energy on complaining about other people, where clearly it's about me somehow. And it's not about calling yourself a problem. It's not about calling yourself wrong. No. It's about acknowledging these things are within you. And that's why you're then having this experience.
And this is the thing, that phase is very valid, because you're accepting, the anger is basically saying, I can't be around this at the moment. At the moment, I feel weak to this because I don't want to succumb to these behaviours that I am now furious at. So this is where the isolation phase comes in. The isolation is sort of, you say this shamanic fucking, you walk away, you go out
you leave gates, society and you go to the forest, right?
You go to the forest. But the problem is, I don't necessarily want to call it a problem, but the evolution comes when you're like, you know what? I don't hate what I'm seeing on the outside. I'm just kind of upset that I can't be like that.
It's almost like
I feel so alive that I literally can't. Like I can't go to a club, and I really appreciate clubs. I love live music, but I can't do
sometimes
it.
the lighting is phenomenal.
The lighting is phenomenal. I really appreciate it, but I can't do it. So I'm like, why? What are we talking about? I can't hear what you're saying. I'm over here because I don't care for you validating me. Someone came up to me the other day like, I really like your shades. I was like, yeah, thank you. Nice shoes. Like, and that's the end of the conversation.
But yeah, I've tried clubbing and I've walked into a club many times. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here?
It's what am I doing here?
And it's not that we can't have fun, because we have fun with each other and we can be stupid and laugh and we can dance. It's just the environment of consuming alcohol and then the dancing and this. It was just like, I was like, this ain't it. I don't know.
But I get it. I really do get it. Like, I wish I could actually drink alcohol and do that. Because I actually like the taste of it. I used to say I don't like the taste of it. That was copium. I fucking love the taste of alcohol. The truth is, I like my mind. My mind was so fucking dark. And so I was so miserable. I had to literally carve it out. I had to understand literally every little part of myself. So now I'm drunk. I don't have my mind. I can't think as sharply. And it's like, I like thinking. It's not. I like to think.
You like to have a sharp intellect, yeah.
Well, not even necessarily. I'm not saying I'm fucking Albert Einstein, but I like to be aware. Yeah. It's like, okay, so now I'm just in the body. I was in the body before. I just feel slower and more sluggish.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I find getting a bit tipsy because then I'm like, I'm a little bit waved, so I can still control it. But yeah, even when I did like the partying and the alcohol a little bit, I never let myself get to that point of blackout. Because I was just always like, I don't want to go there because it just feels like so out of control.
Why do I... But this thing, you also get it though, because people feel so caught up in their heads. And this is what I have to say for myself, like gratitude that I was so depressed, so young, and really hated, despised myself, wanted to fucking end myself. I feel so grateful to experience that so young. Because, like, it truly did allow me to question everything. And to feel better just... in silence, to truly sit with myself, because I couldn't exist. My mind was so active, I was haunted by these dark fucking thoughts. I was so terrified of what I might do. Because even just intrusive thoughts would catch me, because I'd see the image, and I'd feel it, and I'd see it, and I would never do that. Yeah. And I would stick with me, because I'd be so ashamed. This is another thing about
shame is the worst one.
A thought has entered my mind, I had no control out of this thought, and this is another one for people who get lost in intrusive thoughts. We all get them. There'll come a point where you raise your frequency, they won't even enter. And if they do, you laugh at it, so that's just crazy. They're not your thoughts. That's one thing that I'm saying. They just enter in your mind. You don't have to give your power away to them. So I remember being a young kid hearing, like, you don't know what your mind is. Then all of a sudden you're seeing we're going to use a light one. They were far worse than this. A cat walks by and an image, you just see yourself like just stabbing this cat. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Why are you in my head? And this is there in your mind.
And you don't know that other people get that, and you feel ashamed that you get that. And I don't want to think about that because it feels like if you were to tell this to someone else, it's like, my God, why are you thinking that? They suddenly think it's you, but it's like thoughts aren't like that. But see, this connects to other parts of the journey where you start to realize you aren't your thoughts, and you are not your emotions, you are not your body. These are things that you are aware of, and these are energies and fields to work with.
And this is one thing to understand. If you're like, well, I feel like I am my mind. So, well, what language does your mind speak? English. Did you exist before you could speak the English language? That instantly puts you in this place of awareness. You existed before there was even words to express yourself.
Just wow.
They were just wow. You were just there. You were an awareness. Maybe not even really fully aware of yourself. Yeah. You were there. There is a you that existed before the words that you used to hate yourself. Especially people like you existed before you used the words to hate yourself.
Yeah, right.
I explained this. I thought about this.
I like that though. I think that's pretty clear though. Like, you know, before you learn the words "I'm not good enough," you were there, existing already. So you must be before the word and before whatever that word means. You know.
But this is the thing. I do feel like this. I'm at this point now where I do feel like the shame, the guilt, the pain, that all served its purpose, because you then get to have this truly this awareness of it. Because now I felt the shame, I felt the pain, I see the actual where this can lead to. Now I get this chance to see, know, and feel this, but now stand above it. Or if you never could feel, see, if you can never sort of feel, see, and hear this, imagine the lack of depth.
You don't understand.
You don't understand it,
and this is what it is. It's like understanding yourself is like one of the best things that you can do in life. It's one of the like really precious things, you know. I just saw a quote, I think, before we started the podcast. It was a Carl Jung quote again, where it was like, the most precious like thing about life is learning who you truly are. And I agree with that. Like understanding yourself, and this is once again when we bring it back with the darkness part. If you understand yourself and all parts of yourself, you accept and understand all parts of yourself, you can also understand other people and their positions and why they did this, why they're doing this. And I guess we feel that way, like feel like we understand ourselves. We're still on the journey and we still have yet to understand a lot, but we feel that we understand a lot, and I think we want to find a way to help people, because I've done that. I've helped you. I've helped others. You know, I believe that I didn't have anything to give because I don't have, let's say, physical success. I don't have money. I don't have financial independence yet, or women, or just anything. You know, those kind of fundamental things you might say. So I felt I had nothing to give, but actually, there's other ways you can give and provide for people. And I know that, like, we've done this at least twice now, where you've been emotionally triggered by something, and I've just, through a kind of cutting process, a step-by-step inquiry of asking you questions, just like simplifying it down to like, you're angry about this thing, but like, what are you actually angry about? You see, there's a gap here. Like, there's what you think you're angry about, or what the symbol that's triggering you, and what you're actually angry about. And both those conversations, it was like kind of a completely different thing that you were actually upset about. So I do have some ability to help people and aid people, and that's my main thing. Is I just want to be able to have a positive impact on all the people that I come in contact with in my life. That's what I want, you know.
Yes, definitely. And I feel the same. Like, my thing when I was younger, truly, like, when I was fucking down, out, miserable, just truly like, is this even worth it? Like, knowing full well, this is the thing, when I was real younger, I was real fucking down bad. It was like, I accept that I have it good. I understand that I'm lucky. I'm not fucking starving. I'm not dehydrated. There's resources. I accept that there is love somewhat in my life, but it's just, I still feel it. I accept that I've somewhat got it good.
Yeah.
But I'm still fucked.
Still feel like shit.
Still feel absolutely awful. I still despise myself. And I forgot where I was going to go with this.
But I've got an interjection for that one.
Yeah.
And that's proof that you can have a beautiful reality outside, but if you haven't done inner work and you're not accepting, understanding of yourself, you can feel like your reality is just fucking shite.
Yeah. And that's how you even feel guilty about that, because look, this person.
Yeah, then that's another layer that comes on, because like, oh well, I've got all these things. I'm so lucky in so many regards: health, food, shelter, which some people really don't got that. And not just any food, shelter, like really comfortable and like really blessed. But then I feel like shit, and I want more from my life. So then you feel guilty because like, well, I should be grateful, but then there's a drive to want more, and you just kind of have to accept that part of it. Like, you can do both things. You can be grateful yet driven.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So like for me, like, I'm grateful for these things, but I want to get the fuck out of here, because I feel I need to give, I need to express, and I have so much to give. I feel so much to give that I just need to do that, and it's not going to be here.
Well, of course, I was going to say now, but
that happens.
That's not unversed. That's okay. I was going to lead on to something.
Well, I think I'd like to mention, just because I think it's really good time. Everyone's rewatching Revenge of the Sith now, because it's at the cinemas, and we had this conversation I think 2 nights ago, and I absolutely love the conversation, the new perspectives we took on about the whole dynamic of Anakin, Darth Vader, the Jedi, and that whole system, as looking at it as a symbol and a reflection of our own worlds, inner worlds and outer worlds, you know. And that was mainly, this circles back to my point earlier, where you've got these Jedi that are super righteous. They're in the dogma, they're in their own programming, really, of only the light side of the Force.
Yes.
Darkness or evil has to be fought and stopped. Republic, we don't allow anything else in. Then you've got Anakin, who comes in, and he's like the most powerful Force user that has like pretty much ever existed. And Qui-Gon Jinn, he recognizes this, and Qui-Gon himself isn't quite a full-on Jedi, because he dips into the Grey Jedi, and there's also theories about this, but he dips into the Grey Jedi, which is Grey Jedi means someone that uses both light and dark. Basically, but Qui-Gon Jinn is a Jedi, but he sees almost the folly of the Jedi Council and the righteousness of the Jedi. He acknowledges that like the darkness has some play in life. And he sees the potential of this kid, and Qui-Gon is like the perfect father figure for Anakin that Anakin actually needs. But then the council, as Anakin grows, obviously Qui-Gon leaves, and all Anakin has is Obi-Wan, who it kind of is a little bit arrogant. And I love what we said the other day, which was like, so Obi-Wan is almost like a uncle/brother to Anakin when Anakin actually needed the father figure. And it's always like Obi-Wan like sees that Anakin is more powerful than him, but he's like, but I'm the master, okay? And you have so much to learn. But then Anakin has all this building inside, like, I know I can do more. I know I'm more powerful pretty much than all these guys. And this darkness just keeps building because it's just not acknowledged by the Jedi. And then what happens, to kind of not go too far into the Star Wars kind of lore side of things, the basic point is Anakin, who then becomes Darth Vader, is the unintegrated, unrecognized, forced down and repressed shadow of the Jedi. So the Jedi destroyed themselves because through Palpatine and Anakin, that's them shoving down the darkness and being righteous about only light side of the Force and the rest is evil. Because they've done that, now Anakin has come, and through how they're working and how they're behaving from that kind of righteous thought process, that has now boiled. And like I said before, when you push and shove down darkness, really any emotion, it comes back stronger and it has the potential to destroy. And that's what happened. The Jedi got destroyed because they did not acknowledge the dark side of the Force as part of the Force.
They let it control them. This is the thing about it. They didn't acknowledge it. So now, effectively, Palpatine was in control of it. He was fabricating all the wars that they were fighting in. Jedis were dying because of their unintegrated shadow, effectively. Their unintegrated part of themselves. Like, and it always, even the last part when Anakin was the only one who figured out that Palpatine was what was his name? The actual, I always forget the name. He was in charge of them all when he was the senator.
Yeah, he was a senator, but he was also like working for the droids, basically.
The droids. Yeah, but he controlled everything, didn't he? He was Parliament. He was we call him Prime Minister. Fuck it, why not?
Yeah.
This is our podcast. We'll call him Prime Minister.
Prime Minister Palpatine.
Prime Minister Palpatine.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Stammer. We want Palpatine. No. So Palpatine was there. He was in control of them. Anakin was the only one who discovered he was a part of the dark side. Anakin was. And then, because of that, then they said, oh, you can't even go. You're conflicted. So obviously he's going to go. Because he has a relationship with him. He's obviously going to go. And then he's there. He's like, he should be put on trial. That's like everyone else. Yes. And then he's still... And now he's literally looking at Mace Windu. He's like, well, you're evil. You haven't granted me the rank of master. You have literally rejected me my entire life. You've been scared of my power. And now you're going to kill the one man who's saying he can save the only woman I've ever loved. Well, not the only woman I've ever loved, but someone in the moment who...
I think he is.
Yeah, the only woman he's ever loved. And that... So, of course, that's the only thing he could have done.
Yeah, so there was a side where Anakin was manipulated, but even in that pinnacle moment, Mace Windu was proof of the unintegrated and unacknowledged and unexpressed shadow. Because instead of taking Palpatine in, it's not very Jedi to just kill a bloke. It depends on the situation. But I feel like by Mace Windu's... See, this is the thing. I like... Mace Windu is so like righteous Jedi, isn't he?
Yes.
Council. What does he do? Well, he doesn't think twice. He chops off Jango Fett's head. You can see the darkness side of Mace Windu that's not acknowledged. Yeah. And then in that moment, that's a perfect... that's the moment where it all... That was the shadow taking over, because it was like to that boiling point of unexpression. Anakin, still Jedi, is like, yo, take this guy in. And he's like, no, because the darkness is now won. And Mace Windu is supposedly a righteous Jedi, a symbol of, Jedi, how do you say, idol Jedi kind of, He then wants to kill him. As a Jedi, you got to take him in. Like, no, he's evil, kill him. So what if you just become the thing that you swore to destroy,
so
right?
So Anakin's like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah, and then in Anakin's position, you can understand it, because it's like, well, this guy is just as evil as this guy. And this guy, as you say, he can actually help me. And that's where this whole, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil, because on some level, Anakin is right. The Jedi are evil in some sense.
Dooku even told Obi-Wan and he just ignored him. No, the Jedi wouldn't do that. It was part of the Clone Wars. I saw it the other day and it's like, Dooku literally told him, like, this is all a fucking, like, it's all a hoax. And he was like, oh.
The war and stuff.
I love, it's Ewan McGregor, isn't it? That's
Ewan McGregor.
I love Ewan McGregor, but I hate Obi-Wan. I always hated Obi-Wan. Because he was so righteous.
Yeah, but he was not the Jedi. Wouldn't do that.
But the last scene that always pisses me off, like his brother, you see his brother struggling, like he really is. But he didn't even finish him off. He let him burn.
Yeah.
He let him burn. He could have saved him. You could see he was crying out. His last cry for help. He was like, Master. And you see, and then after he left him, then his eyes turned Sith. Yes, he did kill the Younglings. He shouldn't have killed the Younglings. They didn't do anything wrong. That's been memed so many times.
No, but it's interesting because I feel like that's something I've overlooked as a kid, kind of believing in this righteous Jedi dogma. Now that I've integrated my shadow, I see things differently. And now I understand my shadow. But it's like, hang on a minute. Why did Obi-Wan just leave him? If you betrayed me, you were no Darth Vader, and I was like, bro, I got to end you. Then I wouldn't leave you to burn.
Yeah.
What my last brotherly act would be to end you quickly so you don't suffer.
Yeah.
End you quickly so you don't suffer. But he just left him to burn.
Exactly.
And people are like, oh, Obi-Wan, like, bro is like cooked.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Like, how are you just going to leave him to suffer physically like that? At least, like, finish him off quickly with a lightsaber. But that's something I've not had seen before. I noticed that the other day with our conversation. Like, hang on a minute, this guy's low-key evil. He left him to burn. How is he not just finishing off to, like, just ease the pain?
Yeah.
You're already suffering because you were my brother, Anakin. All right, we'll help him out. Don't just leave him to burn and suffer.
Yeah, he's your brother. He's your brother, like, oh, yeah, just like, you're my brother, Anakin. Burned to a crisp.
And you can even say that's another aspect of, like, Obi-Wan leaves him because maybe he feels Anakin deserves it. And that's Obi-Wan's shadow.
Yeah.
That's not expressed, because this is the thing. The righteous man will have the unexpressed shadow, and the shadow, it's unconscious behavior because it's not been acknowledged and seen. So it's just going to happen. He's just going to do something
there was always this
out of pocket.
As well, like when he was training him, there was always this arrogance of like, well, I'm the master. Well, Anakin was always way more powerful than him. If Anakin would have done that jump fucking 12 thing and tried to be arrogant, he would have beat him.
Yeah.
He would have easily fucked up Obi-Wan. Sorry, Ewan. But like, I watched that film and my heart just bleeds for Anakin. It's always Anakin. Even when I was younger, I watched it. I was like, I get it though.
Yeah.
They were all just so. Even Yoda. Remember when Yoda was like, the only person who loves me in this world is suffering. Is I see her in pain. Do not attach. Fuck off, Master Yoda. What are you doing,
Yoda
bro?
Yoda was like the Buddhist, so like, oh, just detach from it all. It's like, bro, like I'm getting these dreams. I don't know where.
But Yoda also was with Palpatine. Like he didn't know, and Yoda was the wise master.
Yeah, but that's why he exiled, because he realised he fucked up bad.
He realised he fucked up. But saying this, like, people do you can't sit and hate on them, because they needed that to learn, didn't they?
Because there would be no story without all that, you know. But the story is reflecting something to us, which unexpressed shadow comes and consumes you.
Yeah.
You have to integrate, understand, otherwise it's going to consume your life, and unconsciously you will be self-sabotaging some way, because the shadow is going to be at work, because it needs to express, but you're pretending it's not there. It's like an angry child that is not being seen. It's like a child needs attention, needs to be seen. But then eventually that child turns into a little demon because you're just not seeing it, you're not acknowledging it, so it's just going to attack you, and it's going to be, and then it's going to express you're going to express from that place without even realizing.
Yeah.
And you're going to do the pointing of the finger and the anger at other people. And you're going to forget that, hang on, this is all about me. I'm just angry at myself here. It's not about this person. I'm not angry. I don't hate this person. I hate myself somehow. And I'm not accepting myself somehow. And I'm angry at myself somehow. But I like your point about the master thing. Like, and this is what I said to you, same again the other day, where it was, if they were just open about it and not bloody righteous Jedi, like, right, maybe you've got some potential, but you need to step down. Like, we're the masters here. This is the council. And you're just the Padawan. If they just realize, like, hang on a minute, this kid is seriously powerful. He's got so much raw, untamed strength. And even Yoda saw the fear in him, and so did Mace Windu. And instead of being like, let's help him, they're like, yeah, we have to watch out for that one. It's like, just, if it was just acknowledged that Anakin was the most powerful, pretty much Jedi that they've ever experienced, what they could have said is like, okay, we see that. Don't let it get to your head, but okay, let's help you. Let's help you develop and be the best that you can. So that you don't, the power doesn't take over. because if you got all this raw potential, power has to be controlled to be, I think, balanced and positive, right? Because otherwise it's just raw, untamed power, and
Controlled
that's what
and
Kylo Ren
directed.
is really.
Yeah.
He's just like this. It's represented by his lightsaber.
Well, Luke done the same thing. He saw the vision of Ren, and he tried to kill him. Instead of helping him, he saw the. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, I see.
He tried to kill him.
now.
It was like, Luke, but this is Disney. We ain't gonna.
That's Disney screwing up Luke
Disney
Skywalker.
fucked up
Anyway.
everything. Yeah.
But anyway,
Disney.
yeah, not to. Yeah, I think that's what I think people resonate with Star Wars though. There's a reason there's a huge following for this story, because Star Wars has deep spiritual undertones.
Yeah, fuck Disney.
And
Fuck Disney.
And these people people really resonate because George Lucas is really trying to tell us something here through this story. And this is where, when you do reach other levels of consciousness, like let's say higher levels of consciousness and awareness of yourself, your own inner shadow, your darkness, your light, just yourself in general, you notice how stories are actually symbols for other things. And similarly, you see that person that triggers you. That's just a symbol for something within you. And you start working with these symbols and you see how, for example, like I've just explained, Anakin is a symbol, and it's a symbol. That whole story is a symbol for how if you don't acknowledge the darkness, it will destroy you. If you don't integrate it, you work with it, because the Jedi were not working with Anakin. Obi-Wan was a little because he was training him, but in the end it was, like we just mentioned, step down, kid. Instead of like, you are super powerful, let us help you manage this power. A whole council of Jedi could have created the most wonderful being, but they couldn't do that because they were in dogma. They were indoctrination, dogma, and essentially like spiritual righteousness. Because we are the Jedi and we are the highest defenders of the galaxy. And
but you imagine Anakin now. He's fought wars. He's seen his friends die. He himself has been injured, hurt many times. He's lost an arm. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
He's lost his arm. Potential losing of his partner.
Even like the deeper story now, because of the Clone Wars now, even Ahsoka walked away from the Jedi because she saw this was a bit stupid, this whole Jedi thing.
And then, I forgot what I was going to say now, but who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
I just wanted to add the layer, but arm gone, best friend left because the Jedi aren't making sense anymore, and then now he's getting visions of
Padme
almost
died.
like the only thing he's got left.
And now they reject him on his last moment.
And his best friend, Obi-Wan, is being a righteous Jedi.
Man, and nobody can see it, and all he feels is alone. And then, but the Clone Wars always broke my heart, like the one where like there's cartoons where it's like Ahsoka was the only one like trying to get, and you can see like he's just, part of him is breaking, and he's like no.
Yeah.
You know. But actually, I think this would be a great segue on from Star Wars now. Like, talking about righteousness. I'll talk about the righteous Buddhist.
Yeah,
and Yoda. Let's actually just go into it. And we're going to start this segment by just saying, for myself personally, I have a lot of love for Buddhism, the practices, the teachings. It has helped me. It's definitely changed, transformed me, and saved me at certain times. I'm not going to deny this. But as I've evolved and as I've grew, I've started to see how sometimes that even something so beautiful can become a doctrine. Can be an indoctrination. How it needs to be, even this sometimes needs to be questioned. And ultimately, learn from people like Alan Watts,
I love that guy.
People who have stepped out of that and seeing how, yes,
it's another trip.
It's another trip. It's another trip. It's another journey. It's leading you elsewhere at a certain point. And the practices, stillness, understanding your mind, ultimately just cultivating silence, letting go of the past, letting go of attachment. These are all fantastic ideas.
They all have a place.
They all have a place, and this is where the nuance has to come into it. Of like, yes, but are you now going to go off to the fucking monastery? Are you going to go off to the forest?
And just not do anything.
And not do anything. Because that's what I did. I'll tell you, Maciej, the story. I was working at McDonald's, and I was completely happy. I was completely content. Flipping burgers. The peak of my existence was... And I was happy. I was enlightening people at the McDonald's windows. They come by, giving them chips.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Because I was not there. I was in my mind. And this is the thing. I really do understand it. When we're called to these teachings, we understand we are coming from this place of suffering. So we need to somehow disassociate from that, detach from that. Yes, by all means. But then, what the fuck else are you going to do? Just sit and breathe your whole life? This is especially for the young people. The older gen, I understand. Especially if you're in your 60s, 70s, Just fucking enjoy your breath. I ain't saying you got to now go start $1 million fucking empire.
Yeah.
You know? But if you're a young person, you feel that ambition, why are you going to just get content with your breath? Because you can return to that at any point. And this is what I found with myself. I was just escaping. I hated myself. I hated my ego. Because you got to transcend the ego. You got to destroy the ego. Then it got to a point where it was like, okay, so I'm aware of this ego. I'm not this ego. So what am I hating? Who am I hating? Whose karma am I trying to save myself from? Whose karma am I trying to get rid of? If I am the no self, if I see myself, if I truly see this silence and I see beyond, who am I against? And I saw this at a certain point. Now I'm just chasing my own tail. Because, yes, I've got rid of the negative part of my ego. What am I doing? Doesn't mean I can't meditate. Still can't enjoy silence. Still can't involve myself in the practices. But what is the point now?
I think the point that you're fundamentally trying to make is that the Buddhists are just like one extreme of the spectrum.
One extreme.
They are an extreme. So while there's value to the Buddhist teachings, there's like the extreme of I'm just going to retreat completely from the world and not do anything. Whereas I believe we incarnate into these forms and these bodies and into these characters that we call, Maciej or Cameron, and we're here to do something. We're here for a mission. We came here for a purpose. It's not random that we're here. And
they go, that's your karma.
That's your karma, okay.
But is your karma also to sit and just get sore legs?
But this is the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Sit in the cross-legged.
Alan Watts, the philosopher, he brings light to this because karma, in I think Sanskrit, means action. So action and reaction. Okay, karma is this thing that's going to get me. It's like maybe there is some sort of spiritual thing, like a part of the journey where you need to like release from some past attachments, and that's the karma side of it. But there's also like karma is action, so you got to do stuff. And you don't got to. You can be the Buddhist, but for me, it's like the middle way. I love balance. I'm a Libra, so I think there's something to it. I do love the balanced middle way. I'm always thinking like, how can I do? But the middle way is clearly what my soul wants and what I feel is right for me. And that doesn't mean that being an unconscious human and also like just doing something I don't want to do, just grafting for money, a job I don't like. But it also doesn't mean being a completely detached, uninvolved, surrendered Buddhist. It's the middle way where you take the best of both worlds of the action and the doing and the spiritual awareness, enlightenment, whatever you like to call it. And then with that, you are a force for action to bring positive change into the world. Because change starts within you first. And that's how you can be the best for yourself, the best for others is when you are your best self. Like I always tell this story in interactions and conversations I have with people. I think there was a couple at couples therapy, and then they were told to give their list of priorities. So the husband was like, okay, first kids, then wife, then me. The wife was like, me, kids, husband. And he was shocked and he was like upset. Like, how have you I understand me, but how have you put the kids, like, how have you put yourself above the kids? Like, what? And she answered him and she just said, look, when I can be my best self and at my best, that's where I can be the best mother for my kids. And I'm completely in agreement with that. When you can be your best self, then you can be the best for others. But you got to start here, because otherwise you're just, if you don't understand yourself and you don't integrate yourself, then you're spending your time filling holes in different ways. You're filling those imaginary holes inside you, which this hurts and that, and whereas if you've done the work and you've understood all that, now you can be a force for positive change, not only in your own life but in other people's lives.
Yeah. And this is what sort of first thing that comes to my mind as well is the teachings. Like, I do love them. Detachment, letting go is something we all need to do. Letting go of things that are out of our control. It's just, you don't need to let go of yourself and your dreams, your goals. Like, oh, but the ego doesn't exist. It's like, okay, mate, but what are you going to do? If you're really cool to go away to the forest, and this is a conversation I had with myself. I'm not speaking to you, I was speaking to myself here. So am I going to go away to the forest? Do I really want to do that? No. Okay then. So now, because I realised to a certain point, this can be a way to enable yourself. The teachings, I feel better now, but I still hated myself. Because the only way I could exist was flipping burgers and meditating afterwards. There was no ability to act. It's like my ego was broken.
Yeah.
But the ego doesn't exist. Well, obviously it does, because I'm still carrying out actions. I'm still believing that I deserve to do this.
Yeah.
I need to do this. There's still stuff happening. Yes, but you just detach. But you can't detach. You need, and this is where sort of the stuff studying Carl Jung, even a bit of Freud, just a bit of psychology helped me kind of balance myself out. Because it was like, okay, there is a character here.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a character here, and that's not a problem. I'm aware of the character. I am maybe at times beyond the character.
Yeah.
But there is still a character. I am still Neo. I'm still Cameron.
Yeah.
You know, I can't. And why would I hate that? Who told me? That's a program. Who told me I need to hate that? And this is where the integration, the shadow, all the other stuff come into effect. Yes, the meditation, the sort of practices, the teachings help me kind of keep myself afloat, I guess you could say. Create some peace in the chaos that was there, but at the same time, what changed my life? I'd definitely say more or less the psychological aspect of, okay, there is this character here. And knowing now that I am beyond the fucking thoughts in my head, how can I now go back into this ego and somewhat, from this vantage point, and somewhat order myself?
Yeah. This is the thing, like...
And not just let go.
And that's the balance, yeah.
Let go of everything.
Let go of everything.
You know?
That's the balanced way, I feel, is just realising, okay, there is this character I'm playing, he's called Cameron, and that's not a problem. It's not an issue to destroy. It's just to be aware of that. Basically, don't take yourself too seriously. Just carry out the mission, whatever inspires you, whatever you dream of, whatever you feel is you want to do. Still carry that out and work towards it, you know, as best as you can, but not just denying who you are constantly. Because right now you are, if you believe like I do, you're a being beyond the body. You want to call it, maybe you're a soul, if you want to call it that way. You are soul that is having an experience, the human experience, within the body, with the minds and emotion. But then obviously the body dies and we go away and we continue our journey in other dimensions. But you're here on Earth for a reason. You're here right now to carry. You came here for a reason. So trying to float away to the heavens isn't why you're here. There's a certain level of awakening, kind of remember why you're here, obviously, and to discover, remember your mission, because like I said, we are programmed to be put down, to think we're not good enough, to just comply. And once you awaken from that, you still have something that you came here to carry out, some sort of mission.
Yeah.
And that could be anything, you know.
If you do feel called to really delve into the practices and float away, do that. And I'll admit this, at a certain point I did. I did float away. I did float away. And that was very valid. That was very valid to feel something other than pain inside of my body. That is very valid to do that. I'm not denying that experience. But there comes a point, okay, but you can exist without disassociation. Because that's what it is. You're disassociating from your ego, which is useful, which is good. Everyone wants to say it's an issue. It's not. It can be an issue if you take it to the extreme.
If you take it too seriously.
Yeah.
Because then you think you're your thoughts and you think you are your emotion. That's when things get tricky. But when you detach from them and you just observe them and you work with them, work with them. That's the key. Work with them and integrate them, and like don't push them down. See them and acknowledge them. That's when I feel you can function as the being that I guess you could say that you were meant to be. You know. But yeah, I think that'd be a nice look. We're at an hour right now, so I think that'd be a really good time to end the podcast. Wrap it up. So yeah.
It's actually been really fun. I've really enjoyed just speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we should just get together like once a week and just chat, like as we've done now.
Yeah,
and just share.
I think that's good. I think that's what we'll do. So yeah, we're gonna leave links for everything if you want to follow us individually on our social medias and everything down below. But
you're gonna see my eyes as well.
Yeah, sure, your beautiful eyes. But apart from that, thank you for watching. We hope that you enjoyed the podcast. You know. Just to reaffirm, we do not judge any particular journey, path, or way of being. That is not why we're here. We're not here to judge. We do have our own opinions, but ultimately, we just want to chat and express and talk about, like you said, like whatever we feel like talking about. And the only thing we encourage is inquiry and questioning your reality and questioning yourself and just Because I think it's a beautiful thing when you go on this journey of unraveling and you get to. It's a beautiful thing to get to know more of yourself. That's what I want to end. I like that one. You know, the more you discover how beautiful you are. You know, with all your darkness, with all your light, both play a part, and you realize you're actually a really beautiful person with so much to give and so much to offer. You know, but yeah. It's a bit of a journey to understanding that because, you know, we're programmed. But anyway, so thank you, Cameron, for being here. I appreciate it. I couldn't do this without Cameron because it'd just be me speaking, which is something I might delve into.
You could get AI. That's what people do on Instagram. You see these like, oh, so what would... It's just get AI voice and they answer the question they ask themselves.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
It's like people fall for it.
But yeah, so...
We're cooked AI.
Thank you for Cameron's presence. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, leave a comment, leave a like, share if you feel cool to that, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. I feel like it could have been a bit smoother, but
goodbye. What? Goodbye.
Yeah, because you need to like flip it out.
Oh yeah, I know, but who gives a shit?
Damn.
That was fun. That was actually really fun.
That was.